There's an island chain just south of Cuba where one island is called El Cayo Ernst Thaelmann, and there is some confusion historically whether this island is with Cuba or with East Germany, a state that hasn't existed for around 30 years. So in this video I want to find out, why is there a confusion between who owns this island? In 1952 the US government helped Fulgencio Batista to take power in Cuba, leading a military coup, which would result in the 1950s having Cuba as one of the US's closest allies in the Caribbean. But would Violin Fort and his biker friend allow this to continue? No. Of course, in 1959, this T-shirt and his friends took over Cuba in the Cuban Revolution, and this put Cuba closer to being allied with the Soviet Union and other socialist and communist powers in the world than to America. And that's when we come to 1972, when another such socialist power in Europe, this time Eastern Germany, had sent a delegation to Cuba, and it's at these meetings where we can see here Fidel Castro talking to the delegate from East Germany, that this interesting thing occurs, and this is that the Cuban president gave to East Germany an island. Now these island chain here, the Cayos Blancos del Sur, and he actually gave this island, which is just a random island, I don't even know if it had a name before, and renamed it El Cayo Ernesto Thaelmann, the island of Ernesto Thaelmann. Now you might be wondering, who is Ernst Thälmann, to use his Germanified name? Ernst Thaelmann was a famous communist politician from Germany and for a while the leader of the KPD party, the Kommunistische Partei Deutschland. Now during the First World War from 1915 he fought in the German artillery on the Eastern Front, but beforehand, already in 1902 I believe, he was a member of the SPD, which was the Socialist Demokratische Partei Deutschland, and as such he was already involved with left-wing politics, but it was during the war that he really came into contact, or slightly before the war actually, with the more radical fringes of the left, which is when he joined the workers' parties. And after the First World War in 1917 was the, well that was during the First World War, there was the formation of the Independent Communist Party of Germany, although when they split into the more pro-communist faction and the less communist faction, he joined the KPD, so the Kommunistische Partei Deutschland, and he helped organize things like the Hamburg Rising, and later on became the leader of that party. He even stood for an election in 1925 and I believe also in the other presidential election, but he lost out to Hindenburg and never became the president of Germany. But of course in 1933, that's the famous date when Adolf Hitler and the Nazi party took over in Germany, and after the burning of the Reichstag, which I still need to make a video about, they started to hunt down communists in Germany with mass arrests, and they did actually catch Ernst Thälmann as well, and he was sent to one of the first concentration camps, or was technically a detainment camp, and later sent to a concentration camp. But his story is rather interesting. His case became rather high profile because he was a well-known member of the Communist Party who was arrested and imprisoned in solitary confinement without a trial. And so in 1937, when the Spanish Civil War was breaking out, actually one of the international brigades, one which was mostly made up of German speakers, actually called themselves the Ernst Thälmann Brigade and fought in the Spanish Civil War, which I have a video about if you are interested, which is just a random little detail that I thought I'd include. Now in 1944 he was actually transferred to Buchenwald, which was a real concentration camp, and he was shot dead there with other members of left-wing parties from Germany. But his story isn't quite over then, because now if we return to 1972, we find that Fidel Castro names this random island to the south of Cuba after him. So he calls it El Cayo Ernesto Thaelmann, or in German Ernst Thälmann Insel, which is really rather interesting detail. Now in 1990, of course, East Germany was unified with West Germany, and that became the modern state of Germany. But wait, there's one thing that doesn't quite add up. Because there was never any documentation of this island being gifted, does that mean that technically that island is sort of still part of East Germany? Wait, oh my god. Actually, after reunification, a German journalist tried to go to the island, but then they were told that the handover was clearly just symbolic. So, never mind to that theory, but that was fun while it lasted. Alright everyone, so this has been a really short, weird video, but I found out about this last night, and I thought this is such a weird story, I think I might as well cover it, because it, finally doing a video about something kind of Weimar-y again, because it's been a while. I'll put some links and cards in the video and the description, so that you can find stuff about Ernst Thälmann and the elections in Germany and all of that kind of thing. I don't have anything on Cuba yet, but I think it would be quite interesting. I have one or two things on the Spanish Civil War, but I'd like to do some more on that actually. It's a really interesting conflict that kind of is a prelude to the Second World War in many ways, and kind of how that would go. But yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed it. Just let me know in the comment section below if you want anything on Cuba, or I might even do one on Ernst Thaelmann. He's a red, but he's a very interesting red, so I might look into his life a little bit more. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been History with Hilbert, and I'll see you all again very soon.